Hello family and welcome back. In today's tutorial I'll be sharing with you how to draft and sew an underbust corset belt in minutes. Kindly subscribe if it's your first time here. Also like and leave a comment down below. Let's get started. So guys, I've already drawn these horizontal lines you're seeing. Also the armhole and neckline just as guide. At the top is shoulder line. The second line we have chest line. Third is bust line, under bust line, and lastly waistline. I'll now measure half bust span on waistline, that's 7 divided by 2 equals to 3.5. Again I'll measure the same 3.5 on bust line. After that I'll draw a vertical line like I'm doing. In order to draw dots, I'm going to measure 0.5 inches on each side of the line. Then go down by 1 inch from bust line, and that's what I'll use to draw that. We'll then measure quarter of waist circumference on waistline, replace 1 inch dart, and since I already marked quarter of bust circumference here on the chest line, I'll just draw an outline by joining these two marks with a line. On bust line still, I'll measure 0.5 inches from the center front, assuming this part is on fold. That's what I'll use to draw half the cap to under bust. For the other half, I'll measure what I have here from the mark to the dart, which is 3 inches. I'll use that for the other side. And having done that, I'll go ahead to use a French curve ruler to draw curves from the mark to under bust. Guys, now on this other side, I'll measure 1 inch up from bust line. Then make an extension of the cap, so this makes this side of the underbust corset higher than the center. I'll just connect it to side edge with the tiny horizontal line. So guys, this other line is no longer needed. With that, I'll now add stitching allowances on that outline. I'll use 1.5 inches as allowance, and then we'll draw new outline as I'm doing. And that's it guys. I'll then cut along the outline. I'm now going to use front pattern to come up with the back pattern. First, for anyone who will be preferring a zipper here at the center back, measure 1.5 inches zipper allowance and pin down front pattern on this plain paper. Then I'll trace out outline and mark dots too. Having finished that, I'll now remove pins in order to draw dots. I'll be using already marked points to do that. After I'm done with the dart, I'll now measure 0.5 inches down from top edge. This is to slope back top a little bit towards the center back. And remember guys, here is the zipper allowance. Guys, I'm now going to cut out first a long outline, then the dart. In my case, I'll use loops instead of zipper. That's why I'll cut out along the middle line, then slash out one leg of the dart as I'm doing. And with that, I'm going to label here as the center side back. Then 2 arrows at the top and bottom. This is where it will be easy to know up and down side. It's now time to trace out the patterns on fabric. Take note that the side edge is on fold. I'll trace out leaving allowances along bottom edges and the center side back only. After that, I'm going to remove pins I used. Again, we'll notch where I'll be stitching that's on the fabric. That's on the top front part and the bottom. Here I'm marking center back to easily know which part goes where. I've gone ahead to cut lining for each piece. I'm using actual fabric as lining, and I'll start by stitching dots on front piece and its lining. I'm done making dots. Next, I'm going to bring back the side pieces in order to stitch them too on the sides with about 1.5 inches. That's the allowance that was left while drafting. And I'll be doing the same also on the front linings as well. Here are side back pieces stitched to front piece, and I've also ironed them. What I'm going to do next is cut out boning casing where they are to be stitched using this long piece. On the side edges, I'll measure 1 inch away and we'll draw a line where to fix it. The boning cases are in place. I'll then measure boning tapes for each casing. I'll demonstrate how to do that. Ensure you leave out stitching allowance both at the top and the bottom. That means they should be shorter than the fabric. Having cut all for each casing, I'll pass them through their casing, leaving stitching allowance both at top and the bottom as said earlier. And once I'm done with that, I'll iron it flat. Guys, I'm done ironing after passing all boning tapes through their casings. I now want to stitch the lining on it with about 0.5 inches at the top edge from one end to the other. After attaching lining to fabric, I'll go ahead to notch all round and then turn everything to its right side. It's turned to the right side, guys. From here I'll measure boning tapes for the curved edges. And since I need 2 of the same measurement, I'm going to cut 2 using the first one. Now I'll just put it in between the fabric and the lining from inside, then top stitch very close to it all round. Guys, just did everything as explained. We'll now join bottom edges by stitching with about 0.5 inches again. Remember, right side to right side first. After stitching and turning to right side, this is what I have. I've also folded side edges inwards and I've ironed. Here are 8 small pieces for back lacing loops. I'm going to put 4 on each side. After inserting the first piece, I'll measure 1.25 inches apart, then insert the second. I'll continue with the same till the last one. And then after that, I'll top stitch. The same will apply to the other side. Guys, I'm done with that. I'll now use this other long piece to lace. Take note of how I'm passing it through these loops in order to achieve a neat lace. Kindly don't forget to subscribe. Also like and leave a comment down below. Let's meet in our next tutorial.